First I'd like to say happy birthday and congratulations on everything you've achieved. I'm relatively fresh-faced to Natural England. I started in 2010 and then left for a couple of years to live in Australia. We thought we were making quite a sensible move, going away and missing some of the chaos of the credit crunch. Thought we'd come back when everything was a bit more stable here. Didn't quite work out that well. Joined back in the South Mercia team as it is now in August. And in taking you through this presentation, one of the things that I wanted to do is talk to you a little bit about how we're structured now and how we're working. I don't have any accurate data on how many restructures Natural England's gone through since your project started back in 1995. It wasn't even called Natural England then, so that just goes to show you something. So we are now based in area teams, and we're structured in 3 core teams: the Sustainable Development team, which I work in, which handles land use planning issues, and the Wildlife Licensing team. Our partnerships and engagement and RNNR staff all work together in one team, so people such as Dawn Griffith and Lynn Farquhar, and our land management team who work on the schemes and have our responsible officers for triple SIs and protected sites. So as the team has come together, we've been looking at working in a more integrated way across those teams and learning from each other. I think previously the way we've been set up has kept us quite fragmented from one another. It's no surprise, I don't think it's anything that surprising. That's our team's, South Mercia's team's overarching goal and objective. So really now we're looking at doing this locally as opposed to how we've done it before, and this is where the buzzwords start to come out. We want to do this in an outcome-driven way. We want early proactive engagement, integrated delivery, ecosystems approach, and to be an enabler of sustainable development. And this is really where I want to talk about and pick up on some of the points Dave raised. He's quite right in saying that traditionally, I think Natural England has kind of focused very much on a triple SI-based approach, white space, and maybe Warwickshire has fallen off the radar of Natural England in terms of where we put our resource. But as coming together in a locally based team, we were asked to come up with a delivery plan, and that delivery plan has to speak to, alongside our partners, the EA, and that has to speak to DEFRA's sort of development of the 25-year strategy. So when I came into the team and was given the role of lead advisor for Warwickshire as part of the area I look after, I was absolutely rubbing my hands in glee because Warwickshire has a fantastic baseline set of information. And if you're talking about an outcome-driven approach, not only does that enable you to look at what your opportunities are, but it really gives you a very good and detailed idea of need, and you can't have an achievable outcome without a good idea of need, and that puts you, in my opinion, in a very, very strong position. And so it was really easy for me to push at this point to highlight what's going on in Warwickshire, what the needs are, and the resource that's already there, that's grown completely locally, and that it's somewhere that we should be putting our resource as a team and looking to work with you on a local level to drive forward what that can go on to inform and achieve. I'm sure you've all, or many of you have heard of Natural England's discretionary advice service. My argument within the team is that Warwickshire is an opportunity to look at how we stop being reactive with that service and are proactive. DAS is a reality of Natural England at the moment, with the resource constraints that are in place as they are. However, I feel as though that should be, as we state quite widely, outcome driven, and so we should be going out and contacting developers when we know there's a need and we know we want them to be putting these things in place and channeling our resource into that. And the baseline of the habitat biodiversity audit in Warwickshire and what it's achieved is something that enables that to happen. And again, I would say a massive thank you to all of you who have put the effort in over the last 20 years to make that happen. So that's our plan for South Mercia as a whole. Natural England has never before chosen an entire county or area to focus its resources into, and as a result it was felt by myself and a couple of colleagues that it might be difficult to argue for Warwickshire to be a whole focus area. It wasn't, and it is now in the plan, specifically for the next 12 months to look at resources and how we can pilot moving things forward. So I'm really excited about that, and I hope that's something that I can engage with you all on over the coming 12 months. We set out some overarching objectives for what we want to do, given what's going on in the county and the level of development. I don't think any of those will really surprise you. HS2 is going to be a huge thing for our area team, and I don't see the point in reinventing the wheel. We've just been past the local environmental management plans for the various different sections of the HS2 route, a huge amount of which go through Warwickshire, and have been given till the end of July to comment on them. One of the things that I've been able to do is spend quite a bit of time with, I'm not sure how many of you know Martin Moss, who's our senior specialist on green infrastructure. Spend some time with him looking at what's happened through the Innovation Fund, particularly in urban areas in London. And one of the activities that we've been doing is mapping the development that's supposedly going to be taking place through the various local plans in the county, looking at where that sits against the environmental assets that fall within our remit, and basically the pattern of land take from future development. And it's quite clear that in some areas there is quite substantial land take. It's not itty-bitty either, it's really quite substantial chunks of land. And so there's a real argument to look at GI at an urban and semi-urban level, and there's a real argument to do that in Warwickshire because Warwickshire has a very strong green infrastructure strategy. It's doing everything it already needs to do. We don't need to come and support you. If anything, we need to learn from you. But I feel there is a role for us in that urban and semi-urban, especially with the way we've also got a remit to go out and proactively work with developers and consultants. We're looking at some projects there. As Dave mentioned, we're working with Warwickshire County Council to come up with some more streamlined ways of looking at planning and licensing issues. And we're finding that our pre-screening service for our licensing and our species DAS, the take-up in Warwickshire is really quite significant. So looking at how we can put an outcomes-focused approach to that as well. So we've already decided now Warwickshire's a focus area. It's where we want to put a lot more efforts and resource. So how's that moving? You've already heard about the Riverline project. We know there's a well evidence need there, and the first workshop for that took place on the 10th of May. Many of you in the room here today were there. And you can see from the activity on that table there that the HBA was significant on that day, thanks to Chris in producing a lot of maps for the day there, in helping us identify opportunities and things we needed to focus on through that project. We've had a look at the feedback from the day, and it was very positive. There was a resounding sign-up from people in the room to move it forward. And the next sort of stages of that project now are to go out and do some site visits in the county. And one of the things that I'm quite keen happens as a member of the Sustainable Development team is that we include visits to developments that are going on within that corridor and use that as an opportunity, and don't let that fall by the wayside, because there are some fairly significant developments coming forward within the Blythe corridor that need to be considered now. So that map just there is just part of some of the mapping we've been doing to look at the land take from suburban developments, from housing. We're also mapping mineral and employment sites for the next sort of the 5-year housing supply period. This is Rugby. The red sites are already underway. The blue to the south is one that's proposed. So you can see, particularly in rugby, there's substantial land take. And when you look at the movement of species, that's a really important thing to consider. One of the things that's come out of us working as an area team is I get to work closely with colleagues in land management. One of those colleagues is Matt Wilmot, and he's been very successful in his farm and bird projects through the schemes, and he's moving that forward into wildlife and pollinator. And again, that's the way he's doing it is very proactive, and there's a huge amount for me to learn from that in terms of how we could take that forward, particularly in Warwickshire. Again, now that Warwickshire's a focus area for our team, I've got the remit to go away and look at pilots, and that we wouldn't be putting that resource into other areas. And so I'm working with him to look at the viability of how we move that forward, possibly through, I'm hoping through Rugby Radio Station, but those conversations have started, we'll see. But yeah, there's a number of projects we're looking at now moving forward, and I'm really pleased that we've got Warwickshire in our plan, and I really have you guys to thank for that. And hopefully we'll be able to move as many pilots forward as possible. So I think it's clear from what I've said, we want to work with you locally. I think given the fallout from events last week, we're in uncharted territory, and we just don't know what's going to happen. But in uncharted territory comes opportunity, and it seems to me that it's only ever going to grow from grassroots at the moment. It's certainly not going to come from the top down. And so now's the time to really get together and work locally and build on something fantastic that Warwickshire's achieved. So if anybody has any ideas or wants to talk, please email me